Howdy swingers. This is mainly for oily and sooty spark plugs like you'd find in a two-stroke, but you never know, it might work for you. The usual way to clean spark plugs is with abrasive blasting. This is fast and thorough, but the problem is you need equipment. It also damages the protective zinc coating and can have particles of abrasive going through your engine if you don't wash the spark plug properly. But there is another way, and that's with paint stripper. At work we had tanks of this stuff called carbon remover for non-ferrous parts. You can't put aluminium heads in caustic tanks or it'll eat them, so you need something different. What you'd do is strip the head and submerge it overnight in carbon remover. That would melt the carbon, so next morning all you have to do is hose it off and it would be fairly clean. This is pretty typical of what you'd start with. And this is roughly what it comes out like straight off the hose. Carbon remover is like a strong liquid paint stripper, and generally the public can't get carbon remover, but we can get paint stripper, so we can try that. Just get a good well-known brand of paint stripper, because it's going to be stronger than the cheap brands. Then just fill the whole pocket between the insulator and the spark plug body. Don't leave air pockets or it won't clean it. You need to overfill it so there's a dome over the electrode or it won't clean it. Now this is the downside of this method. You have to leave it on there for a very long time and make sure it doesn't dry out. This is the plugs washed after the first 8-hour paint stripper session. Some don't look perfect, but they'll probably work just fine. I went for another 7-hour soak just to see if I could do better. You can see brown on some of the outer rings, showing the carbon is still dissolving. This one is clean, so that shows it worked the first time. And this is what it looks after the second round. The less used plugs are pretty clean, but some of the plugs that were running longer aren't perfect. They might not look perfect, but they'll probably run fine. This took 15 hours, but if you had the proper carbon remover, it would do it in 1 hour. I did try some budget spray can paint stripper, and it did remove the oil, which is probably good enough to unfoul the plug, but it couldn't actually remove the harder baked on carbon. It's still a bit black, but it should work. This is the before shot, and this is the after with 15 minutes of paint stripper and a wash. It might not be super fast, but it is another option if you want to clean plugs.